a clear beneficiary of the 5-day war between India and Pakistan has been China. Now that's not surprising, but don't think I'm talking about defense equipments, defense assets. The advantage that they got or sought to get was in the trade, and let me explain why. And this has not been talked about, but this is something that has been very significant. As a maverick observer of the Indian economy, I like to take these discussions with you every week, every fortnight on my YouTube channel On Point. But it helps a lot if you subscribe by clicking on the bell icon, and that's for free. But then you get to know that a new episode is on the air. And now onwards with our story. The wars in April and May that the world got very accustomed to was the Tariff war. But a much more serious war developed in the last week between India and Pakistan, and which had very serious, annoying consequences, and one of them was that of trade. So lots of columns will be written and should be written on how the war has gone, and obviously India has done absolutely right by striking at the very heart of the terror assembly, what the Prime Minister Modi said, terror universities of Pakistan. With US and China at each other's jugular over the last few months over tariffs, the balance of power in global trade has clearly shifted in favor of India. And for India to capitalize on this, already quite a few good steps have been taken. Just the week before, we have had the news about India-UK free trade agreement. There are more coming up. And all of these are predicated on India becoming a major manufacturing hub and exporting its goods to the rest of the world. To do that, India has been doing something very good. After decades of neglect, India has started developing its port from Vizhinjam in the south, that was inaugurated by the Prime Minister Modi this year, which has become India's first transshipment port, to the expansion of Mundra and JNPT in the middle of the western coast, one in the private sector, one in the public sector, and the approval for Vadhavan port, India's first deep water port. The stage is set right for a huge expansion in India's trade. All of these, remember, have a common characteristic. All the goods from these ports and all the goods that will come to these ports will travel which water? The Arabian Sea, the northern extension of the Indian Ocean. This sea is not only significant for now, but for also what it promises. Remember the India-Middle East Europe Economic Corridor, IMEC. It is predicated on India using this chain from the Indian ports on to UAE and Saudi Arabia, and from there to Israel, and from there to Europe. It's a hugely significant arbiter of global trade that is shaping up. Lot rides on this trade route. So it makes enormous sense for a rival power to try to create disturbance on this trade route. While Pakistan, therefore, was a very good proxy, the real reasons or the real handiwork you can see is coming from up our northern border, from China. China, if you notice, over the last few months has continuously been getting bad news on its trade. Port congestion, huge tariffs, veering away of global enterprises from China to other countries, and India, as I said, is a very, very significant winner in this context. So it makes sense to create disturbance on the Arabian Sea. If a Indian Navy ship has to keep on bombarding areas in Pakistan, that doesn't give confidence to the commercial liners traveling this route, and India won't want to do it. But you can see where it all fits in. It is essentially a measure to ensure that there is a disturbance on this very lucrative trade route. What the South China Sea is for China's strategic interests, the Arabian Sea is for India's strategic interests. So it makes sense to keep the sea boiling, because obviously one party's gain could be another party's loss. And as you can see, this is the larger geopolitical game that is now being played in Asia between the two largest countries. India has very good reasons to get annoyed, not just at what Pakistan is doing, but the proxy war that China started in the Arabian Sea. And that is why it makes sense when probably India very rightly did the ceasefire declaration, because India would want normal conditions to rapidly come back into the Arabian Sea for trade to prosper. And that's all from this edition of On Point. For a detailed description of what we discussed here, please visit my Substack. The link is in the description below. Thank you.